In the beginning of this poem, we are introduced to the monster Grendel. Grendel is a dangerous creature who is angry with the world and wants revenge on all of humankind. A powerful monster living down in the darkness growled in pain, impatient. Grendel is first seen in his lair, howling in pain at the sound of the king and his men. They are in their castle in Harrod, singing and laughing. This upsets Grendel. Grendel was an evil being spawned of two monsters. They were punished for committing a crime and exiled bitterly forever. The Almighty drove those demons out, and their exile was bitter, shut away from men. They split into 1,000 forms of evil. Spirits and fiends, goblins, monsters, giants, a brood forever opposing the Lord's will, and again defeated. One night, Grendel went up to Harrod in the darkness. He entered the king's great hall, seeking revenge upon all of mankind, only to find all of the king's men asleep.
Grendel haunted the darkness and stalked the warriors. This bloodthirsty monster killed as often as he could. But he never dared touch the king, for the king was protected by God, whose glove Grendel would never know. The king and his men pondered ways to kill Grendel. Many times they made sacrifices to statues and asked for hell's support.
Hrothgar, their lord, sat joyless in Harrod, a mighty prince mourning the fate of his lost friends and companions, knowing by its tracks that some demon had torn his followers apart. He wept, fearing that the beginning might not be the end.
Okay, so who can tell me what the epic traits are for our section Grendel? Vicky?
The epic traits are plot, because Grendel is a supernatural being that's complicating the storyline, and setting, because the chapter takes place in the kingdom and also in Grendel's lair, which is considered hell. And the epic hero could be considered the king because he's born of noble birth and he's trying to keep his people safe. And yeah. Can anybody tell me about the themes of this chapter in Grendel? Yes, Gabby.
Well, one of the themes is loyalty because of the king's devotion to his people. Like when Grendel came to attack him, he evacuated all of them and stayed loyal to them and their safety. And then another theme is revenge because the monster wants vengeance. And he's angry about the hand he's been dealt, like in his life, because everything sucks for him. And he wants to seek revenge on all of humankind.
Very good, Gabby.
What are some elements of Anglo-Saxon literature in Grendel? Olivia.
Well, there's many elements of Beowulf represented in Anglo-Saxon values and characteristics. The heroic world that Beowulf depicts is a relic of pre-Anglo-Saxon culture. Beowulf is described as the first important work of English literature dating back to the Anglo-Saxon time. And because Anglo-Saxon poetry was passed on by old tradition, many alliterations are used throughout the story. Also, they include many rhetorical devices and most importantly, a lot of kennings. There are many kennings used in Beowulf. For example, in our section Grendel, Grendel is described as mankind's enemy and a shadow of death, and the statues were called old stone gods.
Okay, so now we're going to do a quick review with a plot summary. In the exposition, the antagonist Grendel is introduced. His parents are damned, and that's the reason he's against God and all of mankind. In the middle of the night, one day, Grendel goes to IRod to attack the king and his men.
In the climax, we see how Grendel violently kills 30 of the king's men.
People of IRod left for safety from Grendel. Grendel kept killing the king's men but would never touch the king because he was protected by God.